Welcome back, friends. Angela here, and in today's module, I'm going to cover the topic of product photos for your Amazon listings and how you can create professional quality photos of your own. The perceived value of your products and the trustworthiness of your brand is often judged based on the quality of your product photos. And it goes without saying that product photography plays a huge role in how successful your product listing will be and in attracting and converting customers. This is particularly true when selling on Amazon, where your product photos are displayed alongside those of your competitors. Not only do your images need to meet a technical requirement, they also need to encourage people to buy your products. Now, there are two popular and well-known routes that you can take for product photos: outsourcing or do-it-yourself. There are a few pros and cons for each of these routes. The outsourcing route, the pros is less work for you and you get high-quality product photos. Just send your product photos to someone else for editing. The cons are it's more expensive than doing it yourself, and the turnaround can be slow if you don't have time to wait. If you prefer to have your photos done for you, most services have about a 24-hour turnaround time and charge a couple bucks per photo. Send or upload your image to them and then you'll get it back in the next day. You can do a quick search online to find companies who offer this service. Alternatively, there's do-it-yourself route. The pros are there's minimal cost to you and it's a faster turnaround, assuming you don't slack off. And you can create just as high quality photos as a professional. The cons are there will be a learning curve in the beginning and it does involve more time and work on your part since you're doing it yourself. Personally, I take all my own product photos and I edit them as well. At some point, I will probably outsource this task, but after doing it hundreds of times, I can take a product photo and edit it in less than 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you how you can do it too. By now, you should have the free Amazon Seller app installed on your phone. Did you know one of the features of the Selling app is being able to take product photos, edit them, and then load them to your product listing right on the spot? God bless Amazon. They really do think of everything. Okay, I know the idea of taking and editing photos may be intimidating at first, but this is only because you haven't done it yet. My friends, knowledge is the antidote to fear. And there are loads of hacks to create your own images for your Amazon listing with the smartphone in your hand and the stuff you have laying around the house. Don't waste a penny on an expensive camera or any fancy equipment like a tripod or a light box. All I use is my smartphone and a sheet of white paper or a roll of art canvas for larger items and a photo editing program, either on my phone or my laptop. With a little guidance, the willingness to learn new things, and some patience, you can take great product photos as well as any professional. Amazon has a long list of product image standards. All I ever paid attention to are the following 3 main requirements. First, Amazon requires that your product image be at least 1,000 pixels on one side and 500 pixels on the other side. This enables their website to zoom in on your product so that customers can hover over your image and get a close-up look at your product. Amazon says it themselves. By having your images zoomable, you will increase your conversion rate or sales rate, which is exactly what you're trying to do. All you have to do to satisfy this requirement is to make sure you get in nice and close to your product when taking a photo with your smartphone. Amazon also requires that your product fill up at least 85% of the image space. This is important because it makes your product appear bigger on the computer screen, which also improves conversion. So when you use the Amazon Seller app to take your photo, actually it'll prompt you to crop your photo until this criteria is correct. Third, all product photos have to be on a pure white background. This is where a white piece of paper or a large white sheet comes into play. In the past, I've used a white bed sheet for background draping when taking photos of larger items, but I found it would wrinkle easily and I'd have to waste my time ironing it. These days, I use a 2x4 4 feet white canvas, the kind you use for making art paintings, and I just unroll it when I need to use it. Whatever works for you is fine, as long as it's solid white. So, with these 3 Amazon image requirements in mind, I'm going to cover how to set up a standard product shot on a white background. And 2, how to take photos with the Amazon Seller app. And 3, editing photos using the Amazon Seller app. And finally, some additional product photo tips. The first thing to consider is location and lighting. Try to pick a location with bright, evenly distributed lighting for the least amount of shadows. This could be any room with good lighting, like your kitchen or even your bathroom. Don't obsess too much about perfect lighting because everything can be tweaked and corrected with some easy editing after you take the photos. Just as long as there's enough light to clearly see your product without any harsh shadows. Next, you want to create a backdrop and a flat spot for your product to sit on. So get some books or boxes and then set them on a flat surface like a table or a countertop, and then drape your sheet over it. Now place your product in front of your white backdrop. Now it's time to get your phone out and get hands-on with some photography. Open your Amazon Seller app. Tap the top left corner menu icon and then open Product Photo Studio. And then hit the Take Photo button. Now your smartphone will be in camera mode. Take a picture of your product. After you've taken a picture of your product, buttons will automatically appear for you to adjust the exposure and the background of your photo to make it brighter and whiter. You will also be able to crop your photo if needed. When everything looks good, you'll hit Done. The app will automatically process and review the photos to see if it meets Amazon's image requirements. And if anything needs fixing, it'll tell you. When your photo is good to go, the app will automatically save it for you. That's it, you're done. You just took your first product photo and it's ready to load to your product listing. But you're not going to stop there, are you? When you go to Amazon and search for a product, take notice of the products with the best photos that catch your eye because that's your competition. When you are taking photos of your product, you want to strive for the same quality, style, and quantity of photos as the other sellers. Amazon only requires one product photo, but the more photos you have in your product listing, the more likely people will make a purchase. There are two types of images you can upload in a product listing: the main image and the secondary images. You have up to 8 secondary images at your disposal, and I would suggest using all of them if possible. The main image is what you see in the results page when you search for an item. And as you can probably guess, this is by far the most important picture. That's why it is important to make this picture look as good as possible. The main image should be a clear image of your product on a white background and one that shows off your product in the best way possible. The secondary images are the images you see when you click through the product listing. You'll see them next to the enlarged main photo, and these images don't have to be on a white background. And this is where you can get as artsy and as creative as you like, as long as you don't violate any of Amazon's photo guidelines. The secondary images are used to support the main image and show different aspects of your product. Use these images as a way to show different angles of your product or different colors, if you have any. One of the best uses of the secondary images is to show an action shot of your product, meaning an image of your product being used as it is intended to be by the user, which also helps give a sense of size and scale. If you're not sure what different kinds of photos to take for your secondary images, just search Amazon for a similar product to yours and check out the competition for inspiration. When I first started selling on Amazon, I knew nothing about taking or editing photos. I don't even think Amazon had a photo app back then. So my workaround was listing products from sellers who had websites already showing their products with a white background, or Google searching existing images of my products on a white background. Looking back, this was a very lazy and inefficient method. And eventually, I got to the point where I was getting products for which no photos existed anywhere. And I was forced, out of necessity, to learn how to take and edit my own photos. It was a learning curve, and I didn't find it enjoyable. But the more I did it, the easier it got, and the better I became, and the reward of Amazon sales kept me motivated. There will come a moment at some point in your Amazon business where you are going to be faced with having to do something you've never done before. If you don't, that means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. When that moment comes, all you have to remember is there's a solution for every situation, and you just have to be patient, resourceful, and creative to find the answer. Now, with your UPC code and your product photos ready to go, in the next episode, I will show you how to make the perfect product listing. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.